Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Six-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald is returning to Broadway in Adrienne Kennedy's riveting play Ohio State Murders. Under the direction of Tony Award winner Kenny Leon, it begins previews on November 11th and will open on December 8th at the newly christened James Earl Jones Theatre. And we drop by Haswell Greens to meet the company during a break in rehearsal.
I am excited, elated, honored, blessed. I come from a time in the South when we weren't allowed to play anything but enslaved people and servants. That happened in my high school, as a matter of fact. I come from one of the first integrated high schools in Greensboro, North Carolina. So to come to this point where I'm able to speak the wisdom of my ancestors to the world on a Broadway stage in a theater called the James Earl Jones Theatre, I don't know if it gets any better than that.
I'm very excited. I'm super grateful. I can't believe that I'm finally going to be back on Broadway after so much time away. I feel incredibly privileged and honored to be a part of this group that's bringing Adrienne's voice to Broadway for the first time. And no less at the newly renamed James Earl Jones Theatre. So I don't know. Could I be more grateful? I'm not sure.
I think my mind is blank because I'm still processing. It's often when everyone asks me, like, what is it like? I was like, I'm still processing. I'm trying to focus in on the work because so much of this project is honoring Adrienne Kennedy making her Broadway debut at 91, honoring the James Earl Jones Theatre, and also working with these incredible people. So for me, I just try to keep my head in the work. But in terms of how I feel about it, ask me in about 2 weeks.
I play Suzanne Alexander, a woman in her 50s who is a writer who has been invited back to her alma mater, Ohio State, to talk about imagery in her work, certain types of imagery in her work. And in doing so and preparing to give this speech, she ends up sort of releasing emotionally and telling us a story of what actually happened to her when she was at Ohio State in 1949. It's a murder mystery, it's a memory play, and it's a cautionary tale on the horrific effects of systemic racism and trauma on a person, and lasting effects and devastating consequences of having such, racism institutionalized in the way that it is and was at Ohio State, many universities then. And its relevance is it feels like we're making a U-turn heading right back to that time. So being for me, being a black woman in my 50s in 2022 and people sitting here sort of denying that systemic racism exists and legislating systemic racism back into society and then people just boldly claiming it. It feels like this is a story that needs to be told right now, to sort of as a shout, as a warning, and shine a light on it and call it out.
Being back in the room with Kenny Leon, what's that like?
Oh, it's Kenny. It's Kenny. I mean, it's been 18 years since we've worked together, but we've remained friends all this time and talked about what are we going to do? We have to do something together at some point, and cheered each other on. And of course, we're both members of BTU, and so it's so wonderful being everything about who he was when we worked together 18 years ago. It's so wonderful to have all those memories come rushing back and all those feelings, and so that feeling of being pushed really, really, really hard. I remember during Raisin, he'd push me so hard, and I'd be like, and it was always with faith and love. He'd be like, no, yes, you can. You Audra McDonald, you can do this. And there's something about that. It's like, okay, well, if someone believes in me as much as he does, then who am I to say I can't do this? And he's there pushing you, but going, I got you, but I'm gonna push you, but I got you. And then there's things like whenever he's really thinking hard, he pulls out a yo-yo and he starts doing his yo-yo, or he'll say, he has very interesting sort of repetitive phrases that he'll say over and over again. In the middle, some people be like, repetition is good repetition is better. Go back, do it again, So he's a wonderful cheerleader, coach, and he's one of the toughest directors I've ever worked with, and it's all in love.
I directed her in private practice and some other television stuff, but this is the first time we've been back in the room for theater. So that's like, I don't know, 15, 16 years. So we're really embracing that right now, this time together, and this is what we're supposed to do together. So I'm excited to be in a room with her, and just, it's amazing. Sometimes I get carried away and working with her because I end up just watching her and being engaged with what she's doing, and she might say, so what do you think? I say, huh? I was lost. What? So it's great. She has an amazing skill set. Bryce Pinkham and I, we first met last year. We did a musical called Trading Places, as we were trying to bring that into the city. But he is just an amazingly gifted artist, and to put him with Audra McDonald, it's exciting. And Lizan Mitchell and I worked together many years ago, and it's been far too many years since we've been in the same room. So she's in the room, and Abby is just a joy to work with. So I'm really, and Mr., who I saw in Raising in the Sun downtown. So we got a great group of people, great room of giving artists, and this is a tricky piece. It's suspenseful, it's a whodunit, it's deception, but you need the right actors to deliver it, because Adrienne Kennedy is the most economical writer on the planet. So she only gives you what is necessary. The play is 75 minutes of suspense, and you're out and you're home. I don't even know how Adrienne Kennedy does it. So it's not about words. It's about visual storytelling. Some words, some scene. It's musical. It's even funny at sometimes and at certain moments. So yeah, I'm very excited with this cast. Very excited.
I'm still pinching myself. I think I'm still processing everything that's happening, but I'm trying to remain present and not, just like get super excited. I told Audra personally, I was like, this is so crazy, because I remember in college, we were watching videos of Audra. It was like pretty much a part of our curriculum. We were studying her work as well as Kenny's. So it is really exciting to be on stage with them, but I feel a good sense of purpose. It gives me a good grounding and a sense of, I know this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to how audiences will connect with it and how they resonate with it, leaving the stage or leaving the show, leaving the theater.
I think we're all looking back at our past and questioning it and learning from it and trying to do better than it. And this play is doing that. It's also centering a Black woman's experience in the 1950s. It's bearing witness to that. And it's asking us all to consider what our relationship is to the violence of racism and what we can do about that. And in the middle of all that is a mystery, we get to sort of experience and watch unfold. And all in 75 minutes. So it's a incredible piece, and I'm super excited to be a part of it.
I think it's like a gift from all those shoulders that I stand on. I just went to the Lena Horne opening, dedication of her theater, and to be able to perform in a place that's like a real home for me, and for theater that talks about the history of what people of color have gone through. I didn't know that I would really be around to have this happen.
And now look.
And I have to pinch myself all the time. I have to remember to be grateful and not take one moment for granted, because I earned this, but generations before me made this possible too.
This is an historic moment. And then to have had the Lena Horne Theater open yesterday and to be christened yesterday, and its representation in one of its most profound forms. This is brick and mortar, baby. That building says James Earl Jones. That building says Lena Horne. That's a Black woman. That's her name in lights. For whatever show comes in, that's still her name up there and on the top. And that says to other young performers of color, you are here. You belong here. You can be here. You are seen. You are seen. That's Lena saying, I see you. Come on in. Yep. And that's James Earl Jones saying, I see you. You are seen. We see you. That's huge.